Before I begin the session, the lecture, I would like to pay a big namaskar according to the Indian tradition to the Guru. Okay, and she is my inspiration, Dr. Sharmila. So, namaskar to you, madam. Uh, she's one of the reasons why I took up history as my subject. Okay, after a long time, I've been hearing her lecture. So, thank you, ma'am. Okay, my topic today is basically okay. My background basically I'm doing a research on or my area of study is sculptures, iconography, which is more of art history, and my research is based on that. So my what do you say my look when I look at archives, I look at the archival sources which are connected to all these things. So a few sources which I got where it helped me to look back and see what the worships were, how the deities were, and what were their connections with the village, how they have evolved today. So Forais are some documents which I consulted, and let me make it very clear. Whatever I'm going to present to you is just the fact which I picked up from these documents. They are not analysis, and it is just a tip of the iceberg. So these documents can be looked at from various angles, from various perspectives. Okay, but I look at it from my point of view, or where I could get some information about how these worships were, how they've evolved, what were their names, how the locals perceived these deities. This was the way I looked at it, but it can have other perspective also. So just to give you the background, temples in Goa were a part of the village ecosystem, and they are still in the old. I'm referring to the old temples, not the new, the modern ones. And they were connected to the village economy, which was more agro-based. Okay, and the gods were believed to be the theoretical owners of certain village lands. They included cultivable and non-cultivable lands. These lands were governed by the village administration, which is called as the Gaonkari, comprised of the Gaonkars who claim to be belonging to a lineage of early establishers of the village. Now this Gaonkari functioned in connection with the village temples, and the village lands were allotted to the people who gave seva to these temples round the year. Now the sevikaris included everybody, right from the temple priest, okay, which I will be which we'll see later on, musicians, dancers, performers, sorcerers, carpenters, painters, and many more. The seva was in lieu of the income which came from these properties, and in some cases, a part of the income was given back to the temples in the form of a tribute. So after this background, we also need to understand why and how these forais have come into existence, why they were written basically, probably. Okay, so the Portuguese, we all know this brief history. Portuguese conquered Tiswadi in 1510. Subsequently, Bardes Salcid came under them. Then you have the Portuguese policy of spreading Christianity, which comes in. Decrees were issued for the same. There were official bans on idolatry and on religious practices and so on. We don't know all this. People who accepted Christianity stayed back, and those who did not fled to other parts of the non-Portuguese territories, and they went along with their deities. And this is noticed in Ponda, Bicholi, parts of Sattari, Perne, where these deities are there today. Now, coming to the Forais, by 1567, we have most of these people from the old conquest fleeing from their original villages, and after this we find a Portuguese setting up a committee which included a judge, and these Portuguese officers who went from village to village to make a survey of these temple lands and their ownership rights, along with the total tribute from the temples would get from these lands. And this tribute was documented by the above committee, and it is termed as for, or these documents are called as foral, plural is forais. Now foral, what is a foral? It is like an inventory of the temple assets like trees, fields, coconut groves, lands, gold ornaments, silver articles. Of course, they mention that in the first page, but I have not come across gold ornaments and silver articles as a part of the documentation of the foral of any village. Now, the Forais in Goa archives, basically they are books which are containing handwritten pages. They are preserved by the Department of Archives, and there are separate books for each taluka, and the books are named after the taluka. Like for example, Foral Ilias de Goa, okay, it runs into 6 volumes. The earliest inventory of these temple lands was organized by Antonio Ferro. Then there is also another inventory. I mean, it is, we were just talking about it, Annabelle and I, whether it is one and the same or it is organized again, or is there some discrepancy. We are waiting for your PhD to bring it out. So it is called as Tom Tum du Bench du Pagod, okay, and again it runs into 2 volumes. Inside the date is 1534, but on the roter, which the previous speakers have spoken about, it mentions 1553. And so you have the volumes and the dates I've given. Then you have Foral the Salsate, which runs into 9 volumes, organized by Ambrosio de Souza, and Foral the Bardes, which again runs into around 7 volumes, organized by Valentin Corrie. Now all these data I picked up from the roter. You can have a look at it if you have the roter with you. Now, this is just a copy of the page of a picture of the foral, how it looks. This is foral of Aldea Kurtali. Can you see the word? It is Aldea the Kurtali. So it refers to the Kuttali village. Okay, and here you have, it speaks about the assets of Du Pagod Gopinathu. Okay, so it speaks about the assets of the temple of Gopinath. So this is just a glimpse for you of what it looks like. Basically, they are handwritten documents, Portuguese manuscripts, paper is quite thick, it's handmade paper, and iron gall ink appears to have been written, used for this writing. Each inventory, I mean the inventory of each village begins on a new page, and signatures of the members are present during the inventory, are found towards the end. So this is the last page of the inventory. So you have Du Pagod Gopinath, Du Pagod Manjinath, and all those properties are noted down, jotted down. And then you have the signatures. It is like a today's Panchanama. Okay, and you can see the signatures are in Hale Kannada also. You can see there are crosses. Okay, probably they are the people who have retained their earlier identity, and also now they are they have accepted the new religion, so they have put a cross. So one of the name which I came across was Antonio de Noron Naik. So Naik must be his earlier identity, and this must be his new name. So this is what it is all about. Now, I've just taken a case study of Salsate. There are many, and most of these foral are published by the Department of Archives in Purabilek Puratatva. They are transcribed, sorry. So, here you have, under the order of Viceroy on 17 November 1567, a decision was taken at Madgaon by the judge Ambrosio de Souza to prepare an inventory, tomb, of the immovable properties which belong to these temples of Salsate. And subsequently they were attached to the churches. So the declarant of the properties were the Gaonkars, who were made to swear on their own customary way to record everything correctly and to declare everything without any exclusion. For this purpose, surveying work was carried out, necessary demarcations of the properties were carried out, and the valuations of the properties were made to assess their income, to fix the land taxes, that is 4, to the holders of the properties. So here you have a list of the villages, okay, of which the Foral Salse speaks about. So, it gives you, when we say Salse, Sasashti, 66 villages, here it is just 57. So, you can see it is Margaon, Kolva, Serauli. Of course, these are the present names which I have, mentioned, but if you look at the original records, they still write, they have written the village names just the way we pronounce it in Konkani. One example I gave you was Kuttali just now. Okay, but now we say it as Kortali. So there is a proforma which they have followed. They are very interesting documents. Okay, and it gives you a glimpse of pre-Portuguese Goa. Okay, what the village, pre-Portuguese village was, what was their perceptions. So each village inventory follows a proforma. It starts with the date mentioned in words, okay, and the appointment of the Zuiz, or the chairperson of the judge. And in case of Foral de Salsate, is Ambrosio the Souza, who was the judge of orphans of the city of Goa, specifies the role of the judge. This is just a translation where I put, it says, Ambrosio Souza, the judge of the orphans of the people of city of Goa, is present here, and who now by the king's command has come to make a survey of the farms belonging to the temples and to make measurements and evaluations and yields of the fields. It further states that he has the authority to enter the gates of the village and conduct a search of the village. So before they go to the village, they have, an oath has been administered. Now, the document says that for the Gentios, that is for the Hindus, okay, who are probably the scribes. Most of the scribes are mentioned as Shenai, the Sinai are mentioned. So they were allowed to take oath according to their customs and traditions, and it was Juramen the Rod. Okay, that is oath of, if you translate it, it becomes oath on a wheel or oath of a wheel. Now, as far as my knowledge is concerned, my knowledge goes, there is nothing such as Jurament the Rod. I mean, no Hindu takes the oath on a wheel today. Okay, but probably it was in those years, probably there was some kind of tradition, okay, where the wheel was a part of the oath. Some chakra might have been kept, and probably they might have taken an oath on that. We do not know. Okay, so these are the things which come up when you look at documents like these. Okay, and under the oath, the people had to declare the properties belonging to these temples. They included palm groves. Palm groves are called as palmar. Okay, then Pyrenees. Okay, then there were women, then Joishi, jewels, and all these things. And there is a line which says that if you deny, then they'll be subject to penalties. Okay, so if you take the case study of Foral, the Foral of Margao, it is spelled as Aldea Margao. Okay, and the region appears to be very, commercially very active. It has got these references even during the Kadamba period where a lot of activities, commercial activities are happening, and today also it's a commercial hub of Goa. But you can see this in that Foral also. It mentions a list of shopkeepers. Now, the word for the shopkeepers here is again what Madam Sharmila and Madam Selsa was saying. How do you interpret? Okay, so my knowledge of Portuguese, I had to ask, and the word used for shops are butikas, Buticas. Now, if you translate that, it translates into pharmacy. Now, why would 10, 12 pharmacies be in Madgaon? So, they are shops. So it says that, there's a list of shopkeepers, owners of butikas, okay, in Madgaon, and they contribute for the functioning of the temple of Damdor. So it is Damodar. Okay. Then shopkeepers of the markets contributed money and oil to these temples. There's a list of Gaonkars who contributed money and oil, and money was contributed to celebrate annual festivals by these shops. So you can understand here how the village deity was connected to commercial activities. So see, various angles can be explored. How Damodar, who is now in Jamauli, was the chief patron deity of Madgaon, and how he was associated with economics. Then we have these Forais mentioning, tabakeros, meaning people who dealt with tobacco. Currency is mentioned like tang, bargani is one of the currency, lei, okay. Then it also gives information about the temple owned lands and how the people who in turn perform seva, like for the temple. And this income, the income from these lands was given to the Gaonkari. So see the connection now. This deity is, controlling the economy. It is controlling the the Gaonkari is associated with the deity, and it is like a mutual exchange which happens. The list of sevekaris are given. There is a Joishi, there is a goldsmith, okay, who is written as Shati. Now the Shati is basically probably Shetiche ghar we say, okay, Shati. Then there is a Bhagat, okay, there are Bailederas, ladies connected to the temple music and dance, the Ghadi, the Guru, okay, the Bhatts, and so on and so forth. Officiating priest, in addition to this, in addition to the lands which were given to him, was paid in cash by the Gaonkars of the temple. Okay, the Gaonkars of Madgaon paid a certain, look at the word now, Guinda boat. Now it's Portuguese calligraphy, handwriting. It's very difficult to read what is that Guinda boat. So probably it is Govind Bhatt okay, who was responsible for the honoring of the temple of Damdor, and he was paid 2 tangas per month. Then in lieu of the lands, it was an obligation to give oil from the coconut groves, sesame oil, tilel. Now tilel is just out of Goa. We don't even hear of tilel being used, but you can see tilel here. Okay, and the oil was measured in gid. So 9 gid, 10 gids of means pots. Now this gid system is still there in the Nova Conquista. Like we go to the remote villages of Sangay and Kankon, they still the elderly people still use the term called gid. Okay, that's a pot probably, like how we have ato, kudo. It's very similar to that. These manuscripts throw a good light on the temple layout. They speak about how the temple layout was there. In one of the records, they mentioned that special areas were demarcated for residents of the Sevekari. Okay. What can we study? Role of the Gaonkars towards the temple. The Gaonkari was deeply connected to the temple, and they contributed to the lamps. This I have said again and again. One such case where the villages have asked for the neighboring villages help, okay, for cultivation of rice. So one such example is the village of Banauli. Now I'm just writing the name as they are spelled in the record, where the Gaonkars of the village have paid the Gaonkars of Sirnabati to supply water for their rice fields. So see here, now again, what connection it has and what angles you can study these documents, it's here. Temple feast, this is something very interesting. I personally was interested in these aspect of the Forais also, because here you find a list of temple feasts, which some of them have just disappeared today, and some of them are very interesting to know that we have, the Gaonkars of, this is again foral of Margaon, if I am not wrong, the Gaonkars have contributed to the food provided to the people in the temple, which was served in the month of Sirova. Now, what is the Sirova? It is Shravan. Shravan. Okay. Then special rice fields were kept aside for the celebration of Noveng, the first paddy. On that day, it is mentioned that on that day, the crop from the field was given to the temple, and from the remaining, the villagers would have a feast and tie it to their door, which is still done in the villages. So see how we can look at these documents. Village of Lotoli had 3 rice fields set aside for Novidad. So it is again Nove. Then the Gaonkars of Urli were obliged to give the village temple 9 gid of oil for the celebration of something called as Kwatika Puno. Now what is this Kwatika Puno? Is Kartik Puno. Okay. And 9 kudo of rice. See the measures also I have mentioned. Kudo, ato, paili. Okay. Also 9 gids of rice for celebration of Naumi. Lamps were lit on the village temple. See, they are describing it now. Okay, on Kwartika Puno night. For this, the Gaonkars contributed oil and flowers. Another ritual called Kirapati. Now, I do not know what is this Kirapati. Okay, this is, I think, gone from today's tradition. Is mentioned here, and for this celebration, 1 kudo of rice, 6 coconuts had to be given. Again, we find festivals like Sutache Puno, Sutapuno, which is mentioned. Provisions were made in the form of money, oil, coconuts by the Gaonkars. Foral Banauli mentions that mentions the list of temple festivals and the role of Gaonkar in the celebrations. You can just see the way they have interpreted the festivals: Nautara, Maunomi, Choitora Puno, and Pancha Porboni. Okay, so Nautara is Navratra. Okay, Maunomi is Mahanavami. Okay, the 9th night. Chaitra Puno and Pancha Parbani is the 5th night of the Navratra. Okay, so fields of the particular village are allotted to the Gaonkars and so on and so forth. In the Foral of Talauli village, there is a field called Morgon Karache Namshi, which was given by the Gaonkars of Talauli to the Gaonkars of Margaon for giving them Are Kerash each year for the festivals of their temples. So fields were allotted to the neighboring villages also as well. So it was not like the village was one unit. Each village, was just looking after itself, but there was a lot of exchange as well. Then we have temple maintenance. I am yet to decipher this word. I spoke to Dr. Bravo the other day also, Maria Bravo also, about, there's a reference to a word called chowdhuries. Okay, and they speak about the Chaudharis of the village of Madgaon were obliged to cover the temples of the village, and for this reason they were given the income of the village. Now, I really do not know who are these Chaudharis, whether they were existing. Madam Selsa would be able to throw some more light, whether these people were a part of the Goan society during that time, or whether it has some other meaning. I fail to understand. Then there is a word called Koronbis, which are of course the Kunbis. Okay, they were obliged to bring straw. Straw means hay. Okay, and cover the temples each year. Land was allotted for performing the daily rituals. Okay, like Abhishek and the Dhoop. Just look at the word they have spelled. There is a land called Abhishek, Abshekatso Pato. Okay, allotted to one person. Now this is to perform the Abhishek. Pato is a area. So he had to cultivate the land, and in lieu of that he had to perform the Abhishek. Then there is interesting one, Dhumpachi Numshi. Now I am wondering what is this Dhum. Go to see. Then I came to know that the deity is offered dhoop, incense. Okay, that to offer that incense, there was a Numshi which was allotted to one Sevikari. Fulache Bhat, Maliniche Bhat for providing flowers. Then you have performing, singing, which is a part of the temple ritual, and sometimes these singers, performers, dancers would be, requisitioned from other villages as well. You have the Gaonkars of Tadauli village allotting rice fields to the Gaonkar of Margaon for sending dancers to Tadauli each year during festivals. Temple music was encouraged by the Gaonkars, and the Gaonkars were paying them. They were obliged to pay the singers, the trumpeters, and also the drummers of the temple. You see there are references to Dholachi Numshi, Murdongacho Kumbo. Murdong is Mridang, okay, Mridangacho Kumbo. Okay, so Dholachi Numshi, Murdongacho Kumbo, and so on and so forth. There are traditions of performing dance for 9 days which are recorded. There's a difference between the remuneration as well. In Banauli, it mentions that there is a festival called as Dinde. Okay, I have mentioned it as Dindi. Dindi happens in Madgaon even today. It's a big festival in the month of Kartik. During that Dindi festival, you find the musicians who were there. They were supposed to be, perhaps it means that way. And even in some temples, it is still followed. Those who play music in the temple are different, and those who play music for the processions are separate. So, in such cases, you find there is a case here where they mention that if you are playing the music for a procession outside the temple, the remuneration is much higher. And the person who plays the music in the temple, perhaps during daily rituals, the remuneration is lesser. So, remuneration was also given to people who carried the flags. Okay, so you can understand what kind of procession it was today. I don't think any temple procession has a flag or flags which are being carried traditionally. Folk theatre was encouraged. There are Gaonkars who pay for the Zagor. Okay, the Perni Zagor is mentioned very, very categorically. Pernis play a very important role. Dr. Pandang Faldesai's book speaks on Perni Zagor, and it is almost extinct today, but you can see so much of importance has been given in these documents to the Perni Zagor. They mention artisans and guilds as well. Guilds of coconut oils, painters, blacksmiths. Feterosh, I think, is blacksmith. Then you have land given to masons and carpenters who are engaged in building the temples. Village had their own blacksmiths, barbers, barbers were there, washermen. There is an interesting this which I got here, where it looks like to be a kind of a village rivalry. Okay, and in order to defend their village, the Gaonkars donated coconut groove to the people who died fighting for the village during a battle. And this I found in the record of ROC. So coconut groove was given to, maybe there must be some skirmishes or what, I do not know. But they are, just statements which are made. And the important part of this documentation is the land. They are not documenting the traditions here. Let's be very clear about it. It's not focusing on the traditions, but what I'm picking up is because of the interest in the, because of my interest in this particular field. Let us look at the types of land. Salgado, salt, saline, agor, we still use the word. Then arekal, arekal is perhaps a betel nut cultivation. Maago, patho, kungo, numshi, namosi it is written, sarde, then bhat, gali, Wangana or Waingan, which has been mentioned as Morod, Patho again. Then types of produces which are offered to the temples, very interesting. You find sesame oil, tilel, given to God. Today tilel is just, as I've told you, it is just out of this. Moog, Mungo is mentioned. Some kuro of moog is given. Coconut oil in Gid, areca nut, petal leaves, jaggery, okay. Then types of trees which we have, it's mango, jackfruit, tamarind, these temple properties having these many trees, they have been noted down, betel nut trees, and there's one tree like aurorish, I don't know, it's a golden tree, probably apto tree, where they loot the sona, it is called as sona loot up during the month of, in Dasara time. Names of places also it throws it throws light on, like Kolwa is mentioned as Kolue. Kolue. See, we still say Au Kolwangallo. Okay. Kujir, Kujra, or Talauli. See, Talauli is written as it is Banauli, then Sirauli, Chinchini, Kulosi, the Agnasi. Now, this is Agnasi is perhaps the name of river Aganashini. So they are trying to differentiate because there are many Kulosis. Okay, there is one Keloshi which I have mentioned below. See, there they are saying it is Keloshi the Rio, Rio Sal. So that must be Kavelosi, today's Kavelosi. Okay, then you have Kulosi, the Agnasi is that Kelshi, near Kortali. Then you have Kurtali, which is written as Kurtali. Measuring systems also can be studied, like the land is measured in Kordash, meaning I don't know whether they had some kind of system of measuring land by using ropes. And the Portuguese, I'm telling you, fabulous documents there. They have gone so meticulous that they are telling you the width and the length, largo, okay, and how many kordash it is, and in that kordash, how many trees are there. So 10 tamarind, 12 coconut. So they are so meticulous in their noting down. Then oil, gid, grains, kuro, okay, that is kudo. And let us look at the temple sevekaris. Kirtani, the one who performs the kirtan, Joishi, Malin, Perni, Gru is mentioned there. Gru, I think in Portuguese means a crane. That is what I am told. But it can't be Ramo Gruache Bhat. So it can't be Ram can't be a crane. So it is definitely Rama Guruvache Bhat. Okay. Then you find names of deities. My God, it's a huge list, documentation. There is Druga, Kilbi Devi, Keshbu, Keshav. Here it is very interesting. Ekalavir. Now there is no, there can't be a deity called Ekalavir. So it must be Kalavir or Kalavir. Okay, there are many places where the Portuguese, it is old Portuguese also, let me tell you, they don't write the word U-M, it is written as H-U-M-A. So, a lot of places these things have happened. Okay, then Gauprus or Girma Devi, Gram Devi it is, Maya, Mayam, Malsa Devi, it is legible, Malkumi, Malakshmi, Banespor, Baneshwar, Sankeshpor, Sankeshwar. Here, this is very interesting, which I was just talking to my teacher yesterday. There's a reference in Kavelosi village where the temple, there was an interaction between the Muslims. There's a reference to a mosque called Babal Pir. Okay, and there were lands given to it for its functioning. Then there's a goddess called Mandoli, which we don't hear of anymore. Vanadevata, Betal or Vetalu, Devgi, Devki Krishna, today known as Kamakya, Kamakshi, Borko Dev, probably it is Borko Dev, okay, Mahadev or Mahadev, Fulnath, Narayan, Vaisari or Vaisari, where today Vijayadurga is still called as Vaisali. Santeri is written in different ways, Sapatanatu or Saptanath or Saptakoteshwar, Verba Dev, which happens to be the goddess of Mamai Kamath, who was the ex-director of archives. It is Vadapa Devi, Mujhe Vadapunchi Devi. So it has been corrupted to Verba Dev. Sometimes it has happened that when the eye has a space. Okay, so instead of, you have to, sometimes it is your luck or I don't know what, you have to find out what it could mean. So it is Verba Dev, and then there is a space and there is an I, so it is Verba Devi. Now there can't be any deity called Verba Devi, but when I interacted with Sir, Mamai Kamat Sir, he said it is, our goddess was called as Vadpa Devi, or Vadapunchi Devi, or the goddess under the banyan tree. So what I am trying to tell you through this is that this is just what I would say are facts which I have put. I have not analyzed them. I am not trying to, put across any view or put across any this. But these documents can be looked from different angles. Like, I call it the first European inventory of Hindu temples, should we? It gives an idea of how the Europeans perceived the concept of a Hindu temple in a society. They speak of the socio-economic aspect of Goan society before the arrival of the Portuguese. You can conduct studies using these documents on Goan temple in the society, Goan temple and village economy, Portuguese paleography, land measurement systems, religious conditions of Goa, agro-socio-eco temple connect, numismatics and coinage can be studied through these documents of the 16th century, and you can also study deities and worship. Therefore, this has great relevance as far as research is concerned. So what I've told you again, I would like to say it again, once again, that it is just a tip of the iceberg. There is no conclusion, there is no analysis to it. I leave it open to each and every scholar who comes and has a look at these documents, and they play a very important role. If you want to know the Goan society, their connection with the temples, the Gaonkars, how they function, and the religious conditions of Goa during that period of time. Thank you. So if you have any questions, I could answer them, I'll answer. Yeah.
Thanks for your presentation, Dr. Rohit. I have a question, just my doubts. You have mentioned so many names and so many terms and all that in the Forais. Okay? Am I clear enough?
Yes.
You can hear me? Yeah. Now, you said Bailadere, right? It's the right term that we use. Were there Devdasis in any of the documents?
No, there is no term called Devdasi.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
The documents don't mention a term called Devdasi. It is only Bailadirish. And it has been spelled in different ways. There is a Y which has been replaced by, I has been replaced by Y also. Yeah.
You have said that you have not analyzed the findings, but still I wanted to know if you have any opinion about this list of you mentioned that there are women in the property, female slaves. So do you have any opinion about that? Women, because they will not be sevikaris. The sevikaris are separate. So
No.
the women owned and female slaves owned by temples.
These documents, they mention about land. They mention the lands connected to the temples, and there is, as she's also said it, and it is only if there are properties owned, given to the women, if they are Bailadirish. Okay, there is no other this which I have seen in that case. Slaves I have not come across. No. See, okay. I'll tell you that the first line, the first page of each foral of village says that they have to declare these. As I have told you, they have even mentioned silver and gold ornaments, but in the subsequent pages, there is no reference to gold and silver ornaments. So it is like, a pro forma that you have to declare everything you have, whether it is slaves, gold ornaments, whatever ornament this, that. Even in some forals I've seen buffaloes have to be declared, cattle has to be declared, but it is not there as a part of the declaration in the other pages. No, it is the first page, the pro forma page.
Okay.
It's like when I come to your house, I'm just saying, I'm a police and I come to your house and I say, give me the list of whatever you have. You may not have it.
So, only for clarification.
Yeah.
This Bodko Dev is from Foral de Bardesh?
I don't remember because I've taken it from many places.
Okay, because there is a mixture, because you are getting Salsed, Bardesh
Yes,
up and
yes.
down.
No,
So
because
one doesn't get...
no, the topic was Forais,
Yeah,
so I had to take all three.
that is Verba Devi or Velba Devi?
Verba Dev.
Verba. This is Foral of Salsed?
Yes, Foral of Salsa.
So it is Veli.
Yes.
Really, it is Velba Devi.
No.
Because there is a separate document on
No,
that.
in many cases, like I was just telling about,
Maybe how it is written, basically.
probably,
Because there
probably,
is a separate document on that
probably,
in
probably.
Foral itself.
Yes, probably. Like I was just telling, Kilba Debi. So it is, so that's what the Portuguese paleography is too difficult to understand unless and until you.
I just want to make an observation about the oath that you mentioned that you could
Yeah.
not identify. And I just happened, it's so fresh in my mind. See, there was this oath on a heated iron bar. Okay. And that word is Juramen the Revi. So probably that word, that was there, and then they tried to stop it in the 19th century. They tried to stop that oath. Now, secondly, this is once again a observation that I want to make because you made a mention of just the preliminaries. By 1591, I got statistics now recently, about few months back when I was researching. By 1591, there were 20,000 Hindus reported in Tiswadi, Bardes and Ilish. And out of those, about almost 200 people, households were paying taxes.
Okay.
So just an observation.
Okay. Okay.
And
Yeah,
so,
as she said, it is could be that Roda or Rova. I have to check it again. Rev, he said. Okay. Okay. See, there is a reference to the oath on. I would just like to add to that. Uh, Bitter leaves were butter was loni was put on the bitter leaves and was kept on the hands, and there was a hot iron which was placed, and the person had to take an oath on that. Yes, which was stopped. Yes, it was stopped. Even there's an oath on cow's head. Cow and the oath of Malsa Devi, the bell. Yeah, yeah.
may I ask you
Ah, madam.
whether your presentation was only on Salsate
No, I just took a case study of Salsit.
case study?
Just for
This-
these people to understand what it
Yeah.
contains.
So this is the 500 year of the Foral of 15, very first Foral.
Oh.
Did you? No.
No, no, no.
Did you? Did you examine it? It's only on English.
No, I have not gone through it.
Please do it.
You're talking about a 1526 one?
Correct.
No, I have not because
Please do it.
yeah, I have to check it. Afos Mesha for all.
Yeah, I was supposed to write, but it coming in the way of what I have been writing for so many years. So I just
I
kept
was
it
after
aside.
Balaji
The
to help me out with that. Dr. Balaji,
26. That would be
1526.
very interesting
Yes, ma'am.
because you can analyze it from many
Yes,
points
yes,
of
right,
view.
right.
From not only governance but also hereditary
Yes.
rights and so forth.
Yes.
Yeah. Nothing much on temples.
No,
on
there
the
is nothing
land,
much on temples
though,
there, yeah.
Though the Forais deal with land, agriculture, and governance.
But ma'am, that
Three
has a
things.
mention of jurament, I think. I think
Okay.
so.
All right.
Yes.
No plans.
Tax. The four. Yes. Yes.
Because Foral itself
Is a huge
connected
thing.
with four.
Four.
Yeah, the tax.
It's only land and the
Yeah,
tax
it is
which come
connected
in.
with tax.
I was interested in this particular documents in this document because of the worships which they mention. Now how they are connected to the village doesn't give it.
There is a reference here
Okay.
and there.
Okay. But not as in detail as these ones.
If you're only dealing with temples
No, my topic was temples, worships and deities.
today,
Yeah.
for otherwise,
Yes.
I would like you to
Thank you.
go
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll take that.
especially this is the
Ah, yes.
500th year
Yes,
of
ma'am.
the Quran of 1526. And to me, to tell you the truth, though there has been, if the thing is understanding the paleography, it changed from
So much.
century to century. It never remained the same. If you 16th century calligraphy is
Yes.
different, 17th century, easiest is the 18th.
18th.
18th and 18th onwards. Actually, the newcomers should go to 18th century only. That there you it's clear. And I mean, whatever I had mentioned in my talk, there you can connect that plus the clarity of the documents.
Document.
Yeah. Correct, no? What I said?
So, so, I so,
Okay.
you had mentioned two things. First was the relation between the villages, like they helped each other, and another one was the rivalry between the villages, as you mentioned. Like how frequent is the occurrence of this incidents in the
Just
forals?
once.
Just once.
In one case it is I found. They see, I have not touched the whole thing in detail.
Okay.
Okay, I've just it's like a this that's what I'm saying, the tip of the iceberg. There could be more, but I have come across it in only in village of ROC, if I'm not wrong,
Okay.
not otherwise.
Were Gaukari involved in these interactions?
Probably. If the land has been, see, there's a word called ger.
Okay.
If the land has been given, allotted for defense, there must be some kind of a reason to it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. We need to look at it from a different perspective. You can get so many things from that. I look at it from my point of view. My point of view is the deities, the names, how they have evolved. Yeah, temples. You can look it from other perspective also. Like I've given you the socio-economic, how that's what I've told you. The Damodar temple has shops under it, and they are giving obliged to give oil and all for celebration of festivals. So how the deity is controlling something economical, the economic aspect of religio-economic angle can be studied. So what I've tried, since Dr. Balaji told me I have to just introduce, so I said I'll just take something and introduce. So I've taken only Foral Salsette as a case study, and that too Margaon. There can be many more. Yesterday she and I were stuck at one word, and we were trying to find out what it is, and finally we deciphered it. So
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I must share this something interesting when he asked this question about the rivalry. See, there are rivalries in the villages, Santa Cruz and Taligaon.
Taligaon.
Then that in Saligaon there are
Yes.
villages. So you can bring out something nice based
On
on,
that.
this. Giri.
Fascinating, Rohit. This is, I'm here.
Thanks.
Two questions basically. One is that, is the Foral this the beginning of records, or did you find anything before? Because whether it's in the temples, the fact that temples and the deity regulated life in a village. We are, there are many stories for other places as well. No, this is not the unique factor. What is very interesting is that while we say 12th century onwards we have records. So would be very fascinating to know if archives or you have come across any records kept by the temples. This is the part one, and the part two is, are we continuing keeping records?
There are many temples in Goa which have records. They are in Modi Marathi. There are records pertaining to, which I have seen, pertaining to the oaths. I have just speak about the oath. The oath taken, the name of the person, the receipt, okay, the payment which you have to do to the temple, name of the person, then article which was approved by the government of how the oath should be administered. There was a such, it was not that, I'm just giving an example. It was just not that I could just get up and say, okay, I want to take the oath under the bell of a temple. So there was a certain rules, regulation, system followed, and all these are specified in that government. The meeting, it was put for the meeting first. There was these minutes of the meetings are documented. Then it was approved by the government, and the person had to come from one side. He had to go around the temple, go to the temple tank, have a bath. There was a kirwant. Now there are, see, we have to understand, in case of temples, it is just not, the birth is a very generic term. You have the kirwant, you have the joishi, their functions are different, their duties are different. So the Kirwant had to be there. He had to give him, say a few verses from the Puran. Then he had to come from the other side. He could not enter the Sarvali of the Sabha Mandap. He had to come from the Sarvali of the Sabha Mandap and not from the Chowk. Chowk is the raised platform. And then he had to come and stand under the bell. So there is a, there's a circuit which has been approved. So these records are there. Mallikarjun temple has many records in Modi Marathi. Yes, there are records, but most of them are not as old as these, and they give you those records give you specific, like the ownership rights or the details and all that. But these give you a big overview. Though they look as sentences and speak about the four, but they give you an overview of what it could be, what was the pre-Portuguese village all about, and how the deity governed the village along with the Gaonkars. So there are temples which have lot of records, Portuguese as well as in Modi Marathi, but they date to around, earliest I have seen is some 1689 or something of that sort.
You would say that these are the earliest records
As far
which
as, yeah.
give us better
Yes,
sense
yes,
of what.
yes.
And in today's world, what kind of systems are we following that can give a simple, you see, we are looking at 500 years or 600 years of history right now, right? Going forward 600, what would be the source of information going forward for the history in 500 years?
You mean
Are
to
we
say-
keeping any records, or will it be the books by the scholars?
Yeah,
That is
it's-
what I'm trying to.
Okay, no, I suppose today's temples I'll speak of, they are not preserving any records of the present era. Whatever we have is all of the past, and they have preserved it. They consider it to be real valuable. But the present ones, I would say, 21st century. Yes, I said that in the beginning. It's so
I'm driving that.
so meticulously recorded, but they have been kept with an idea. It was like a land and survey. Like today we have land and survey department. It is a similar kind of a thing, which I feel it was. Inscriptions are not mentioned here. Inscriptions are a different ball game altogether. They don't speak about much of administration, like how these speak. It's just a grant donation.
Congratulations. I just wanted to touch upon you mentioned the doubt about the term Chaudhary.
Yeah.
Now, this might be my ignorance talking, but and we have so many experienced researchers here. Could it not just be, say, a business family, just as you have the Sheniris or the Shenaris? Could there have been some Chaudhary from, I don't know, some other part of India that was very involved in business?
Probably.
Or something.
It
but
is that record dates to 17 November 1567, and it is of Margao. So that's why I would request Madam to throw some light on Chaudharies.
Keep inventory. So somebody donates some gold ornament. There is an inventory. Some land gets gifted to the temple. There is a gift deed. It may be statutorily registered, but it is not that temples are not keeping any documents.
Okay.
Now, as far as that is concerned, that is in terms of compromise or bylaws or regulamentos, whatever it is, the decrees or whatever. But as far as assets and everything is concerned, it is documented. It is wrong to say it is not documented.
No. My thing is that if you look at Margao, what is happening now is with prominent temples, which I agree. But if you look at the smaller temples of villages, they don't keep.
There are again, you have temples which are under the Mahazania law. You have temples which have come up under Trust Act. You have temples which have come up under the Societies Registration Act.
Off the record, I would just like to mention that even those temples which are a part of the villages today, in the new conquest is, Kankon Sangye side, and they are under Mazania, smaller temples. They are not, but No, no
I
record.
see. I
The
may stand
the
corrected.
big temples, yes, they do. Yes, I agree. I agree with you fully. But if you go, like what I'm trying to say is every village speaks of inventory here, which is absent in case of the present temple, just smaller in scale, and they are under Mazani.
Because this Gaonkari concept was so intertwined with the temple
Probably.
system that now there is a distinction that has
Yes,
drawn in.
probably. So there are various factors to it, probably. Who? See, here it is tax is, here the tax means it is a seva. Here it is oil and all. It is not tax as tax per se. Though the Portuguese have called it as for, it is a tribute. So even now, if you go to I'll cite my village itself. There is a festival which has to be celebrated. 10 people will come and stand there without even you telling them to come and help you out. And they only do it. So they know their duties well. Why? Because they have got all these, yeah. No, the lands are allotted to them, no. I have to play the dhol here because I have got a dholachi namshi. I have to sing because I have got a kungo. I have to play the surt. There are cases where he'll be in a better position to say that. Basically, now there are cases where if you don't perform the seva, they are saying you quit. You quit the duty.
Seva means service.
Seva is not service.
Can seva and foral be together?
Seva is not service. Correct, ma'am. Correct. Yes. See, here they have used the word servants. They are not servants.
No, I would say seva would mean discharging a responsibility or an obligation.
Yes. And that is the word they have used, obrigados. Exact word which has been used is obrigados. Yes, it's an obligation. So it is not a payment, it is obrigados. Everywhere that word has been very clearly cited. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, 1567 and the meticulous seva is not there, but there is a word sevekari. In one or two cases I found it.
One more thing, concept of pati,
Pati,
and there is a concept of denigi.
dengi.
So four, I mean the tax thing is a later concept. Denigi and pati is a concept.
So I was
which-
just talking to ma'am also the other day. There is a reference to, in Kankona, there is a reference to a tax being paid called as Kunt. Desm and Kunt. So Desm we all know, but Kunt was going to the temple. But there is no record of it. There is a small receipt which I have found. It is spelled as Kant. Kunt. And my village, my grandparents have told me that devla Kunt ditale. So that Kunt, we don't know. What is that Kunt? Whether it was a kind of a tribute.
There is another
Shido.
there is a concept of shido. There is a concept of kurd.
Kur.
Maybe it is kurd.
No, but this is Kunt.
Could have
Not
been Kont.
Huh?
It could have been the Portuguese Kont, giving an account.
No, but they have paid. They have given something as a part of Kunt. No, there is no record. No, there is just one receipt which mentions the name of the family and Kant Pathivela, something of that sort. It's an old Marathi thing. Kant Diela or something it is. That means just a receipt that you have paid the Kant.
That's what, 1/5.
1/5.
1/5.
Oh.
Quinto.
Huh?
Quinto. Quinto is
Quin-
1/5. 1/5.
No, this is Marathi. They have said it in Marathi. So you're saying it's a Portuguese? This?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
probably,
maybe,
probably. Okay. Okay, she has another version to Kant. Joyce.
Let's listen to her.
Huh? Kant is there. So it is nothing to do with 1/5. Is it? Look at it from the. Okay. Oh, Kant was paid.
Quickly, these records are per year or for any place, or is
No, it's
it?
organized in a year. In a year, like 1567 is the year. 1534 is the year. Like Foral Iliash, the inside of the Foral Iliash says 1534. He's talking to her, Annabelle, in the morning. And on the rotor it is mentioned as Tum the Bench the Pagod, that is 1553. Okay, but so it's like that. It's a year, 156, and they have gone on doing this inventory till 1800, as late as 1800, I suppose. Bardes is very late. They have gone till 1800.
So let me specify, like if I want to study one village from 1534, so every year there is a
No,
record?
1567, 1712, 15, like that. It's a group.
Okay,
It's not every year. It has happened once a year. Once.
okay. So there
It's
is
like
no,
a census. Madam is saying, right word she has used.
okay, so are the records lost, or you
No, no,
think?
no. They are still preserved by the archives. That's what I'm saying. We need to have a look at them. They've been just not ignored, I'm saying. They've been.
They are ignored, I'm sorry.
They are ignored? Okay.
Sorry, they are crying for our attention.
Okay.
He was there out. I called him inside because he is the acting director of archives. Can you have a better place for us than in that Kadama plateau? And how soon? How soon? We are not young like Balaji Shenoy, by the way.
Okay.
Go-
I'll
go.
just.
I'll-
Should I end this session of mine?
I'll just reply.
No, no. You reply later on. I'll just conclude. Madam. Okay.
एका डोंगरावयल्यान दुसऱ्या डोंगरार व्हरता. Archives has been administratively approved a new premises at old IPHB building at Altino. Okay, so the foundation stone this year only it will be put.
आलतीन वचपा बसी मात दवरले आमकां. बसी.
तेच सांगले एका डोंगरावयल्यान दुसऱ्या डोंगरार व्हरता.
Okay, I would like to conclude. I would like to thank Dr. Balaji Shenai, the dynamic director, and the staff of archives. Especially, I would like to make a mention of Sandhya Bhandankar. I eat her head like a leech. Okay, when it comes to library. Thank you very much for having me here, and looking forward for more questions and queries on this topic. Thanks a lot.